My name is Silver Dave, and I have a confession to make. I have been lying to you all. I am terrible at saving money. Let's find out why I've been living a lie. The truth is, I like spending money just like the next person. But I've learned how to trick myself into spending money, but at the same time as I do it, I am saving money. See, I do earn a decent living. And one of the trappings that you have when you start making more money is you increase your costs. That means that you start spending more, you start going out more, you buy more expensive clothes. I remember when there was a time when I was making around, I would say, $2,500 a month as my very first job as a sort of intern. Intern junior professional. I wasn't an unpaid internship, but it was a trainingship at my first job, and I was making not a lot of money. And I could still put savings aside, right? I was putting around $300 worth of savings a month to the side. But then within like a year or two, I doubled my income. I was making close to $5,000 to $6,000 a month. And I can tell you what happened then was I wasn't putting all the extra income, that is the extra $2,500 plus $300, so $2,800 into savings. I was still saving around $300 a month. And the reason was I was bad at saving. And I'll tell you why we as humans in general are bad at savings. There is this psychological factor that when you see you have more money in your bank, you feel complacent. You feel like, okay, I'm safe. I have 3 months of income, and I can go and buy things and I can have fun. And you want to have fun. It is part of human nature to want to have fun. You want to go out, you want to go have nice fancy dinners because nice fancy dinners taste nice. If you go to that fancy sushi place with a date, you have an enjoyable time, you're eating good food, and everybody's happy, you know? If you have some friends who are going out, you have a great time, you go and you have beers, everybody's laughing, you're sharing stories. It's awesome. I like doing that. I went out last night. I went out for a drink, but this is like my first drink in a month. Now I've cut back on how much I go out. The way I try to limit myself, and I know there's a psychological factor in it, is that I try to limit my ability to see how much money I have. And one way of doing it is that I have separate bank accounts. I have one bank account where I don't have a card. I don't have a credit card to that bank account. I don't have a Visa card. I don't have a debit card. I don't have a MasterCard attached to that account. It only has money in it. That's what I call my savings account. There's only a savings account and a retirement account on that. In that bank, it's a separate bank. I don't see that money daily. I don't consider it as money I have. It's my emergency fund. I have roughly in that bank account, I think about 8 months worth of reserves there. But I don't see it. I will never spend it. What about my daily average account? Well, in my normal account, I have an account that I can see the money when I go to a cash machine. That's my, I call it the current account, or in the US, I think it's called I'm not sure what's called in the US, but it's basically it's an account where you can take cash in and out, and you can see on your card how much money you have left in that account. Normally you have a draw limit. I told my bank I want to not be able to draw money more than what I have on that account. So if it goes to zero, the machine tells me I can't draw any more money. That's one part. The second part is I have a savings account on the same bank where I have the current account. And in that savings account, I put what I consider to be my essential monthly income. So when I get my paycheck, one of the first things I do is I top up that savings account with whatever I think will be my essential costs, such as rent, groceries, transportation cost, taxes that we'll have to pay at the end of the year, any extra fees, telecommunications like phone bill, internet, everything that I have to pay, I fill that account up. And then I'm left with what I consider to be my basic free money, right? And I see exactly on my current account what is my free money. So how do I use what is left in my free account, my free money, where my salary comes in? What do I do to save even more? Well, I buy gold and silver. I'm gonna put the title of this video as investing with $50 a week, because I think $50 is a very realistic amount. That means you see videos where people are saying, oh, you should invest like $150, $200. I think $50 is feasible. You're not going to sacrifice a lot of your personal life. I can say, why do I say $50? Because I think most people can manage to have $100 of free cash flow, but you will not be going out with your friends. If you're putting $400 aside all the time, you will limit yourself severely. Basically, you're putting limits on yourself, psychological limits on yourself, and you're depriving yourself of enjoyment. The way I think if you want to be successful in long-term savings is you cannot deprive yourself of enjoyment of life, because you need to live. You will die one day, so enjoy life. But at the same time, you have to be pragmatic and say that, yes, I'm enjoying life, but at the same time, there will be a day I'll get old. So I need to put a little bit away for the time when I can't work as much as I can work today. And the way I do that is whatever's remaining, I split it 50-50. And if I base it upon the average income of an American person who earns roughly, I think it's 60,000, and I look at the lowest 20%. So I look at the lowest 20% of people that means that 80% of people make more than this amount. That will be 20,000. So 80% of Americans make more than $20,000. And on a $20,000 income, roughly it was like $24,000. So you're making $2,000 a month, roughly. If you're making $2,000 a month, that is 80% of people are making more than $2,000 a month. How much free cash can you spare per week without going into the mode where you're completely depriving yourself? And the number I came up with was roughly $50. It was a little bit below $50, but I'm gonna say like around that was like $47. And I was like, okay, $50 is still within an acceptable range. So it's $50. What can you do to invest and save? How can you convince yourself to put that money aside that you can save for your retirement, and at the same time be in a low risk position, and at the same time not feel psychologically deprived of the enjoyment of life? Well, here's what I think I've been doing personally. This isn't what I suggest for everybody, but this is what I've been doing for myself. I've been buying up gold and silver. I've been using my free cash whenever I have like a little round number left. I'm like, okay, I earn more than the lower 20% percentile. I earn a lot more. I'm in the upper brackets, but it's the same principle. You're just gonna have less of this quantity. For me, the quantity is this. See, I've arranged these in 3 lines. Every time I have a bit left over, this is about $500. I earn my income in Swiss francs. So actually, even though the price of silver and gold has been going up in US dollars, it's not been going up so much in Swiss francs because it's a safe haven currency. So for me, it's pretty much the same. I've just been putting it to the side, and I've been putting this every time I have like $400 extra. I finish paying my bills. I see it this week. I've got like, I still have like 2,000 on the current account after I paid everything, all my bills, and then I still have $2,000 on a current account for the enjoyment, for groceries. I can spend it on stuff that I want. I'm like, okay, so if I have 2,400, I can wipe off the zero and then just buy buy one trank, right? That's I'm putting money away, putting 400. Well, next week I see it, maybe I have like 1,500. I'm like, okay, I can put another like tier away, right? And I'm saving money in the process of buying stuff. And I get the same same psychological enjoyment that I'm buying things and I'm shopping, I'm looking for deals. But I'm actually not shopping, I'm actually saving money. So that's my personal strategy. If you earn much less, if you're earning on the 20,000, you're not going to buy the whole row. You're going to say, okay, so I'm earning 20,000. I've got $50 a week spare. What can I buy? Well, that's very simple. You can buy 2 ounces of silver, right? Or if silver goes up in price, you can buy 1 ounce of silver. You're like, oh yeah, it's kind of, there's this app called Acorns where it takes off your spare change. This is the same principle, except you're doing it with precious metals. And you're saying, oh, I've got like a round number at the end of the week, and I want to round it off. I'll put it into an ounce of silver. And then next week, you're like, oh, week 2 of the month, you've got 4 weeks in the month. You're like, oh, I've got another ounce of silver that I can buy. Go to your local coin shop, find a round. I buy Philharmonics because this is the lowest premium bullion I have in my area, but it will be something else in your area. It could be Silver Eagles, it could be Britannias, it could be all sorts of coins or bullion. And just like the next week, third week of the month, you buy another one, you're like, okay, and you still have like maybe $1,000 left in your bank account. And the day before your payday, you're like, okay, I've got like maybe $60 left. And then you're like, you just move it up. What I've also noticed is if you're able to round off your money, and this is a psychological thing, you have less money in your bank. And people have this tendency to actually spend less once they have less money accessible. It doesn't mean that your total net worth is less. That's one of the reasons why I explained at the beginning of the video, I have money set aside in a different account that I don't have access to. If you have enough free cash flow to put a lot of savings to the side, I think that's a good idea. It will prevent you from doing rash things. I've done some pretty rash things. Thank God I've always been able to build back my savings back up. And sometimes like the rash things paid off, so I was able to go positive pretty quickly. But looking back, I think it was unnecessary stress. I mean, pretty much it came back to like I made like 20-30% more for quite a big risk taken, so it's not really worth it. And it's not worth it, not in terms of like I didn't get returns. It wasn't worth it in terms of the psychological pressure that you put on yourself. And I think this is one of the most relaxing ways I've found to save money and put money into an asset class or items that don't depreciate, that's relatively easy to acquire, and that has a clear market value. So that's my advice for saving on 50 bucks. If you have 50 bucks and you have another way of saving, please let me know in the comments. Feel free to share how you're trying to make sure that you're able to stack and stay cash flow positive, and share your experiences. If you like the content, feel free to click the like button, click the subscribe button, and click the bell notification button. And this is a community comment, talk about your personal experiences. I'll reply within the day or 2 days, depending on my free time. I will reply to. My personal goal is to reply to everybody. So if I haven't replied to you yet, I'll get to it. And thanks a lot for watching.